As I approach the front of the vehicle, I'm checking to make sure that my vehicle is not leaning left or right to indicate that there is a suspension trouble. I will check underneath the vehicle to make sure that there's no puddles to indicate that there's a leak. I will check all my front-facing lenses from top to bottom to indicate that they are properly mounted, secured, clean, and the proper color. At this point, I will check my antifreeze, oil, and power steering fluid. They are all at the proper level and not leaking. I will then check all of my air lines and hoses. They are in good working condition and not leaking. I will check my steering box, all my hoses, connectors, make sure they are properly mounted, secured, not damaged, not leaking. I will now check all the steering system. I will check all of my links, arms, and rods of the steering system. They are not worn or cracked, with no missing nuts, bolts, or carter pins. I will then check my leaf spring hangers, front and rear, leaf springs, and shock absorber. They are mounted securely, not cracked or broken, and the shock is not leaking. And there is no missing nuts. I will check my brake line, hoses, couplings, and fittings are not broken, worn, or frayed, not leaking, with no contaminants on the drums or shoes. The tire will be properly inflated to the manufacturer specification. Check with a tire pressure gauge. The valve stem is accessible. The tire has no abrasion, bulges, or cuts. The tread depth is at least 4/32. Check with a tread depth gauge. The rim is mounted securely, not cracked or broken, damaged. No missing lug nuts, bolts, and bolt holes are not elongated. The lug nuts and studs are present, not broken, with no rust trails or shiny spots to indicate that they are tight. I check all my side-facing lights and reflectors. They are clean, not broken, missing, and are the proper color. I would check my mirror brackets and mirror. They're properly mounted, secure, not bent or broken, and no missing parts. The battery box and battery are secured. All connections are tight and are not corroded. The cables are tight and secure and not cracked or worn. The DEF tank and fuel tank mounted securely, not cracked or broken, and not leaking, and caps are tight. I will check my electric line and air lines connectors. They're connected. They're not frayed or leaking. They are not rubbing against any part of the truck. I will now check my frame from the front to the back, to the left to the right. It's mounted securely, not cracked or broken, and no illegal welds. The apron and the kingpin are not cracked, bent, or broken, with no gap between the apron and the skid plate. The skid plate is properly mounted to the platform, not damaged, and properly lubed. The release arm locking pins are not damaged and are in the lock position. The locking jaw is not damaged and is locked around the kingpin. I will now check all my side-facing lights and reflective on the trailer. They are mounted securely, not cracked or broken, and the proper color. There is plenty of space between the rear of the tractor and the landing gear. The landing gear is up in the up position, and the landing gear crank arm is in a secure position. The frame of the trailer from the front to the rear, to the left to the right, is mounted securely, not cracked or broken, and no illegal welds. I'll now check all my rear facing lights. They're mounted securely, not cracked or broken, and the proper color. I will check my reflective tape. It's mounted securely, not cracked or broken, clean, and the proper color. At this point, you will ask the examiner to help you examine your rear facing lights. You will go to the cab. You'll turn on your tail lights, your left turn signal, your right turn signal, your brake lights, and your four-way flashers. And then you will stick your hand out with your thumb up, and then you will go to the front of the vehicle. Okay, once you are at the front of the vehicle, you will turn on your headlights. Then you will do your high beams, low beams. Then you will turn your right turn signal on, your left turn signal on, and your four-way flashers. Once you are done with that, the examiner will get in the vehicle to do your inside inspection.